I wanted to share this post. First of all, I'm going to be in the next, I would say this year, I'm going to be starting to kind of slowly go through my YouTube channel and just do a lot of rearranging and changing things. So I want to just have shift the focus of my YouTube channel in 2025 to be more focused on where I feel the Lord is calling me right now in my season of life, which is to share my story and my journey with my medical stuff that's been going on since last year. So a year ago was when this whole journey started for me, my medical journey. So I'm going to start off in this video just reintroducing myself again. So my name is Wendy Jones. I'm 34 years old, and last year I went in for a routine eye exam, new optometrist, and basically the optometrist found swelling around my optic nerves. And from that point, so that was in January, and then fast forward to March of last year, I began visiting a ophthalmologist and a neuro-ophthalmologist at UC Irvine. They have a eye institute called the Gavin Herbert Eye Institute, and it's about an hour drive, 1 to 2 hour drive one way to see this specialist, but totally worth it if you live in Southern California. Highly recommend. So anyways, I started my journey with the specialists at UC Irvine, the Gavin Herbert Eye Institute, and from there just felt like I was, kind of jumped into the deep end of the pool, sink or swim. Totally new to just the whole eye exam scene. I learned so much, and it was just so overwhelming processing everything. And initially they thought I just had this condition called drusen, which is basically just kind of something that can over time affect a person's peripheral vision, but it's not really something that is serious or necessarily threatening to a person's vision. It's just more so like something that you just kind of monitor and keep an eye out for. But then something wasn't adding up, and so the doctors continued to run some more tests. I had a CT scan in May, my very first CT scan, and then I also had some MRIs over the summer. I had 3 MRIs over the summer. 2 of them were ones to look at the veins and the arteries in my head and my neck area. And so that was during the summertime last year. And then fast forward to September of last year, I had my very first lumbar puncture, which was a big moment for me. Like, that was just such a big shift for me. And as a Christian, I'm going to talk more about my faith on my YouTube channel. So just a fair warning if you're not Christian. I am a Christian. I'm a practicing Christian. I'm a very I definitely have a real relationship with the Lord, and I definitely feel his presence on the regular basis. And this whole journey has really taught me a lot about that, and just I feel like deepen my relationship with the Lord. And so I'm definitely going to dive into that more so on my YouTube channel. So just a fair warning. But so I had my first lumbar puncture in September of last year. Everything went great, but they did find that my opening pressure was high. And so it was 39 was my opening pressure. So that was definitely indicative of the idiopathic intracranial hypertension, which was diagnosed at that time as well, definitively diagnosed with that lumbar puncture. So fast forward to November 25th, I had a cerebral venogram, angiogram, I think it was a venogram, cerebral venogram. So they put me under general anesthesia, and they basically run this like tube up into your head and neck area, and they measure the pressure inside of the veins and the arteries. And that's how they found transverse sinus stenosis. I had 85%. I have 85% narrowing in my transverse sinus on my right side. So while I was under, they also did a procedure where they deploy a stent. It's like a temporary stent. They deploy a stent, and then they retrieve the stent. And what that does is that tests to see if that area, that site where the stenosis is, will respond to the stent. And it did respond to the stent in the way that they were hoping for, and basically it demonstrated that I would be a good candidate for a stent. So, so far my journey as of now up to this point is that I have transverse sinus stenosis, 85% narrowing on my right side, and in February of this year I will be having stent surgery. So they are going to be placing the stent in there. So for that procedure, I will be under general anesthesia, and I will be at UC Irvine. Their interventional radiology. My neurosurgeon, Dr. Suzuki, is going to be overseeing that procedure, and Lord willing, everything's going to go well. But I know that ultimately whatever happens, that the Lord is in control, and he already knows what's going to happen. He already knows the outcome. So at this, and then just like little things that have come along the way, I'll go into further detail on another video, but just like I've learned a lot of things, not just the big things like I've just mentioned, but a lot of little things that I've seen just God's hand in this whole process. And I just want to share with other people who are going through a similar medical journey as me, whatever stage you're in. Just know that, you know, I think as Christians, the element of like welcoming the Lord into our fears and into our feelings and into those scary places, those unknown places is critical. It is just absolutely, like, I can't even imagine if I didn't do that. So anyways, I'm just here introducing myself, and just letting you know that there will be some changes here on my channel, and I hope that for those of you that want to follow along with me on my journey, and see the progress and see what happens. I'm on here because I want to be real, and I want to be raw, and I want to share my journey, because, you know, a lot of what you see on the internet is just people's highlights, and no hate on that. Like, everyone has their own things. But for me, I just feel very strongly that the Lord has led me to share my story, you know, in just the most raw and real way possible, because it's going to minister to people that need to hear it. And so if you're listening to this and you're following along on my channel, I just want to welcome you and just say that God is with you, and if you welcome him in on your journey and you welcome him into your feelings, he will absolutely take that on for you, and you can fully lean all of your weight of all of your cares onto him. I promise you. So thank you guys for listening.